The Harley-Davidson Servi-Car was more than just a motorcycle. It was a symbol of utility, endurance, and adaptability that defined an era of American urban life. Born in the early 1930s, during one of the toughest economic periods in U.S. history, the Servi-Car represented Harley-Davidson's ability to evolve with changing times. Unlike the glamorous two-wheel cruisers that roared down open highways, the Servi-Car was built for the narrow alleys, downtown avenues, and everyday business operations that kept the nation running. It was a three-wheeled machine that blurred the line between motorcycle and workhorse, combining Harley's engineering heritage with practical functionality that appealed to small businesses, police departments, and repairmen alike. When it first appeared in 1932, the Servi-Car entered a world still reeling from the Great Depression. People were looking for affordable, efficient ways to conduct business, and Harley-Davidson was looking for new markets beyond individual riders. The company had already seen its motorcycle sales drop sharply due to economic hardship, and the Servi-Car offered a new lifeline. With its stable three-wheel design and cargo box mounted over a robust rear axle, it could serve as a delivery vehicle, mobile workshop, or even a police patrol machine. The idea was ingenious: a motorcycle that could carry goods, offer utility, and still maintain Harley's signature style and reliability. Its presence on American streets quickly became familiar, as mechanics used it to tow cars, businesses used it for deliveries, and police departments adopted it for traffic control. The early Servi-Cars were powered by Harley-Davidson's 45 cubic inch flathead V-twin engine, an engine known for its simplicity and ruggedness. The Servi-Car shared many mechanical components with Harley's two-wheeled WL and WLA models, which would later serve the military during World War II. The 45 cubic inch flathead produced modest horsepower but an abundance of low-end torque, perfect for hauling heavy loads through city streets. It was not a speed machine. Instead, it was a vehicle built to start early, work all day, and keep going long after others quit. Its mechanical layout included a hand-shifted 3-speed transmission with a reverse gear, allowing operators to maneuver it easily in tight urban spaces or when positioning it for towing jobs. The reverse gear was a feature that made it especially practical for service work, something few motorcycles offered at the time. From its earliest versions, the Servi-Car's frame design was distinctive. It consisted of a conventional motorcycle front end attached to a rear section with two wheels connected by a differential and leaf springs. This rear end was wider than a typical motorcycle, giving it a solid stance and stability while still narrow enough to fit through tight city streets. The cargo box over the rear axle came in various configurations, some open, some enclosed, depending on the customer's needs. It was common to see Servi-Cars painted with the logos of automotive dealerships, local repair shops, or municipal departments. Their utility was unmatched in an age when trucks were expensive and fuel-hungry. The Servi-Car could do the same job with far less fuel and maintenance, making it an attractive investment for small businesses. One of the key markets Harley targeted with the Servi-Car was the automotive service industry. In the 1930s and 1940s, car dealerships often used the Servi-Car to deliver cars to customers or to tow vehicles needing service. A popular practice involved the Servi-Car towing a disabled automobile to a repair garage. The driver would attach the motorcycle to the car using a special tow bar and then ride it back after delivering the car. This setup was perfect for mechanics and dealerships because it eliminated the need for a second driver or truck. Over time, the Servi-Car became a fixture outside auto shops across America, its unmistakable silhouette, two wheels in back, one in front, a compact cargo box, and that distinctive Harley rumble, marking it as both a tool and a trusted companion. Police departments across the United States also found the Servi-Car irresistible. Law enforcement agencies valued the vehicle's stability and storage capacity, which made it ideal for urban patrols, parking enforcement, and traffic control. Unlike two-wheeled motorcycles, which required constant balance, the Servi-Car could stand on its own, making it easier for officers to dismount quickly or write tickets without worrying about tipping over. Many police Servi-Cars were equipped with radios, sirens, and lights, effectively turning them into three-wheeled patrol cars. In cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles, they became a common sight, patrolling downtown streets, managing intersections, and responding to accidents. For decades, the Servi-Car remained a symbol of municipal reliability and presence, bridging the gap between motorcycles and cars in the world of law enforcement. The design of the Servi-Car remained remarkably consistent throughout its production run, which lasted from 1932 until 1973, over 40 years of continuous service. However, several mechanical and aesthetic changes were made along the way. Early models featured a rigid rear suspension, but in 1937 Harley introduced a new frame with an enclosed rear axle housing, improving both strength and protection against dust and grime. The wheelbase and box dimensions were also standardized to accommodate a wide range of accessories and customizations. During World War II, Harley-Davidson continued producing the Servi-Car for domestic use, while its larger military contracts focused on producing WLA models for the U.S. Army. The post-war years brought renewed demand for civilian vehicles, and the Servi-Car continued to thrive in an America that was booming with economic activity. By the 1950s, the Servi-Car had evolved in styling but retained its mechanical simplicity. It featured Harley's familiar Springer front fork for many years before adopting a hydraulic fork in later models. The flathead engine continued to power it well into the 1960s, even after Harley's other models had transitioned to overhead valve designs. This was partly because the Servi-Car's purpose did not require high performance. What mattered was reliability, torque, and ease of maintenance. Police departments and small businesses valued these traits more than raw horsepower. Harley-Davidson also offered electric start options in the 1960s, a convenience that made daily operation even easier for fleet users. The Servi-Car's mechanical layout had proven so effective that Harley saw no need to reinvent it. It was a mature, dependable design, one that continued to serve faithfully while the world around it modernized. The Servi-Car was also beloved for its simplicity of repair. Mechanics appreciated that most of its components were interchangeable with Harley's other 45 cubic inch models, making parts easy to find and maintenance straightforward. The flathead engine, with its side valve design, was robust and forgiving, capable of running for thousands of miles with minimal issues. Its mechanical modesty was one of its strengths. Fewer moving parts meant fewer things to break. Owners often performed their own maintenance, replacing gaskets, adjusting valves, or relubricating bearings in backyard garages. This do-it-yourself spirit was very much in line with the ethos of Harley-Davidson's community, machines meant to be ridden, worked, and understood. For all its practicality, the Servi-Car was also a cultural artifact. It represented an America where small businesses thrived, where city streets were alive with the sounds of mechanical work and movement. In the mid-20th century, to see a Servi-Car parked in front of a tire shop or city hall was to see a living emblem of urban function. Its three-wheeled stance might have made it less glamorous than a two-wheeled Harley, but to those who used it daily, it was indispensable. Many delivery drivers, police officers, and mechanics developed a deep affection for their Servi-Cars, often customizing them with unique paint jobs, extra lights, or even radio equipment. The bond between rider and machine was rooted not in speed or rebellion, but in reliability and pride in work. When Harley-Davidson merged with American Machine and Foundry, AMF, in the late 1960s, the Servi-Car was already nearing the end of its long run. The rise of compact delivery vans and more affordable automobiles made three-wheeled utility vehicles less necessary. Cities were changing, and so were their vehicles. However, Harley continued to produce the Servi-Car until 1973, largely due to consistent demand from police departments and nostalgic customers. By the time production ended, the Servi-Car had become one of the longest-running models in Harley-Davidson's history, a testament to its enduring design and practical appeal. Its final versions retained the flathead engine and handshift transmission, a living fossil in an age of electric starts and high-performance engines. Even after its production stopped, the Harley-Davidson Servi-Car refused to fade into obscurity. Many units survived for decades in active service, some still seen patrolling small-town streets into the late 1970s. Enthusiasts began restoring them, recognizing their unique place in Harley's lineage. Unlike the chrome-laden cruisers that dominated shows and rallies, the Servi-Car represented Harley's working-class soul. Restored examples now appear in museums, classic motorcycle exhibitions, and private collections, often painted in their original police or service department colors. Their quirky design, half motorcycle, half pickup, continues to fascinate collectors and historians alike. The Servi-Car's influence can also be felt in the modern trike market. Harley-Davidson eventually returned to three-wheeled design with its contemporary Tri-Glide Ultra models, which offer the same promise of stability and comfort that made the Servi-Car popular. Though today's trikes are far more advanced, with powerful engines, modern suspension, and luxury touring features, they owe a conceptual debt to the original Servi-Car. The idea that a three-wheeled Harley could combine practicality with style began in 1932 and never truly disappeared. In many ways, the Servi-Car was ahead of its time, a precursor to the trikes and sidecar rigs that would later capture the imagination of riders who wanted something different from the typical two-wheel experience. The Servi-Car's enduring charm also lies in its connection to American craftsmanship. Built during a time when every nut and bolt was assembled by hand, it carried the spirit of the Harley-Davidson factory in Milwaukee. Each machine told a story, not of speed records or cross-country adventures, but of daily life, work, and dedication. It was a vehicle that symbolized dependability in uncertain times, from the Great Depression to post-war prosperity. Its design captured an era when motorcycles were not just for leisure, but essential tools of trade and community service. The Servi-Car stood as proof that engineering excellence could serve both beauty and function. As decades passed, the Harley-Davidson Servi-Car became more than a tool, it became a fixture of American visual memory. Streets, garages, and police departments all across the country had relied on its resilience for so long that it seemed timeless. For many Americans growing up in the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s, the image of a uniformed police officer writing a parking ticket beside a three-wheeled Harley was part of daily life. There was something trustworthy about it. It did not intimidate, it represented order, familiarity, and a working-class spirit that reflected Harley-Davidson's deep roots in American society. Beyond its professional use, the Servi-Car also found a second life among independent workers and entrepreneurs. ICE deliverymen, photographers, tradesmen, and even newspaper distributors adopted it as a cost-effective vehicle for their small businesses. The Servi-Car's 60-inch rear track width and compact turning radius allowed it to navigate alleys and park easily in congested city centers. Some owners even converted their Servi-Cars into makeshift mobile shops, selling snacks, newspapers, or flowers directly from the cargo box. In this way, the Servi-Car became a rolling symbol of American ingenuity, a tool that could adapt to almost any task its owner imagined. The engineering of the Servi-Car was deceptively simple. Its side-valve flathead engine, first the 45 cubic inch, 742 cubic centimeters, and later a 750 cubic centimeters variant, produced around 23 horsepower, but it delivered that power in a smooth, controllable way. The engine was cooled by air, fed by a Linkert carburetor, and coupled to a chain-driven 3-speed transmission with a hand shifter mounted on the left side of the fuel tank. The driver operated a foot clutch on the left floorboard and could engage reverse gear through a small lever. This hand and foot coordination required practice, but once mastered, it became second nature for those who used the vehicle daily. The clutch, throttle, and shifter rhythm gave the Servi-Car a unique riding feel, half motorcycle, half utility vehicle, and many riders developed their own techniques for efficient maneuvering in city traffic. The frame construction was a combination of tubular steel and reinforced brackets, making it extremely durable. Because of its intended workload, the Servi-Car was built with extra weight capacity compared to regular motorcycles. It could carry more than 200 pounds of cargo in its rear box while maintaining balance and steering precision. The front suspension used Harley's time-tested Springer fork for decades, giving the front wheel that distinctive bounce and visual character associated with classic Harleys. Later models transitioned to hydraulic forks borrowed from the Hydroglide line, softening the ride and modernizing the handling characteristics. The rear axle assembly used a differential similar to that of small automobiles, transmitting power evenly to both rear wheels through a chain drive. The braking system evolved over time, starting with mechanical drums before moving to hydraulic brakes in later years, improving safety and stopping reliability. Inside the cargo box, Harley-Davidson offered customization options. Businesses could order wooden or metal interiors, removable side panels, or even lockable lids for security. Some Servi-Cars had a rear-mounted spare tire, while others featured additional lighting or signage. The flexibility of its design allowed it to become a canvas for countless local adaptations. Auto shops painted them in vivid colors with the shop's name in cursive letters, police departments used bold blue and white paint schemes, and small businesses covered them in advertisements, transforming the Servi-Car into one of the earliest examples of mobile marketing. The Servi-Car's practicality did not diminish its charm. Many riders loved its distinct exhaust note, that deep Harley rumble that echoed through narrow streets. Even though the engine was smaller than Harley's big twins, it retained the brand's mechanical soul, the rhythmic, heartbeat-like sound of a V-twin under load. This sound became familiar to city dwellers, a kind of mechanical music signaling the arrival of the local mechanic or the steady patrol of an officer. It was the sound of reliability, of daily work, of machines doing their job. Through the post-war period, America's cities were changing rapidly, and so was Harley-Davidson's market. The Servi-Car was not a glamorous product like the Panhead or the Sportster, but it remained vital. Harley recognized that not every customer wanted or needed speed, some wanted stability, cargo space, and durability. As cars became faster and roads improved, the Servi-Car held its ground in areas where cars were impractical, crowded city centers, factory lots, university campuses, and small-town streets. In rural America, farmers and small shop owners used Servi-Cars as multi-purpose vehicles, transporting tools, packages, and even livestock feed. The ability to run all day on a small tank of fuel was invaluable. By the 1960s, however, the landscape was changing. The flathead engine that had served faithfully since the 1930s was technologically outdated. Overhead valve engines were now standard, and automatic transmissions were becoming common in small utility vehicles. Yet Harley-Davidson, understanding that the Servi-Car's customers valued consistency, resisted drastic changes. The company continued to offer the same engine, hand shifter, and classic styling. There was a sense of tradition attached to the model. It was a machine that didn't need to be reinvented because it already worked. The very things that made it old-fashioned were the same things that made it beloved. During the AMF era in the late 1960s and early 1970s, Harley-Davidson's attention turned toward modern motorcycles and the expanding leisure market. The Servi-Car, while still selling in small numbers, no longer fit the company's image of youth, freedom, and high performance. Production continued primarily for police departments and longtime fleet customers, but volumes dropped significantly. The last batch rolled out of the factory in 1973, ending over 4 decades of continuous production, a record that few other motorcycle models in history have matched. When the final Servi-Cars left the assembly line, they carried with them a legacy of quiet heroism. They had never been the stars of motorcycle rallies or Hollywood movies, but they had built cities, enforced laws, and kept small businesses alive. Their understated reliability was their greatest strength. Even after Harley-Davidson stopped making them, thousands remained in use. Police departments in smaller towns continued to operate them into the late 1970s, and independent repair shops kept them running through the 1980s. For many mechanics, the Servi-Car was a symbol of a different kind of Harley culture, not about rebellion, but about craftsmanship and service. Collectors began taking notice. In the 1990s and 2000s, restoration of classic Harley-Davidsons became a passionate hobby, and the Servi-Car found a new following. Restorers valued the model for its historical importance and mechanical simplicity. Many sought to preserve original police paint schemes, dealership logos, and period accessories. Finding authentic parts became a challenge, but Harley's long production run meant that components were often interchangeable across decades. A well-restored Servi-Car could easily draw attention at vintage motorcycle shows, its boxy silhouette standing out among the sleek lines of two-wheelers. What also fascinated collectors and historians was how the Servi-Car embodied the spirit of American resilience. It had been born in hardship, thrived through war, and adapted through peace. Its life story was parallel to that of 20th-century America itself, practical, industrious, and ever-evolving. The Servi-Car was a vehicle that reflected a nation's need to rebuild, work, and keep moving forward. It didn't promise excitement or luxury, it promised reliability, and it delivered. In modern times, enthusiasts often modify restored Servi-Cars for recreational use. Some fit modern engines or convert them into comfortable trikes for weekend rides. Others keep them original, preserving every nut and bolt as it was in the 1940s. These restored Servi-Cars often evoke a sense of nostalgia that no other Harley model can match. They remind people of a time when craftsmanship was measured not in horsepower but in endurance. The wide rear axle, small cargo box, and unmistakable front fork design are instantly recognizable, a timeless combination that has aged with dignity. The Servi-Car also represents an important chapter in Harley-Davidson's engineering history. It demonstrated the company's ability to create specialized machinery outside the realm of traditional motorcycles. Harley had long been associated with personal mobility and freedom, but the Servi-Car showed that the brand could also master commercial utility. It laid the groundwork for future experiments in three-wheeled design, ultimately influencing the birth of modern Harley trikes. The idea that a motorcycle could serve both work and leisure purposes originated with the Servi-Car. Its influence extends far beyond its mechanical components. It shaped how Harley-Davidson approached practicality, stability, and innovation. Today, when enthusiasts look at a Harley Tri-Glide Ultra or a freewheeler, they can trace the lineage directly back to the Servi-Car. The shared DNA is clear: two wheels in back for stability, a single front wheel for direction, and a V-twin engine at the heart. But while modern trikes are built for touring and comfort, the Servi-Car was born from necessity. It was a machine designed not to conquer highways but to conquer the challenges of everyday life. It carried packages instead of passengers, towed cars instead of trailers, and worked quietly instead of roaring for attention. Despite its humble origins, the Servi-Car's design had an undeniable aesthetic appeal. Its symmetry, with the wide rear fenders and narrow front end, gave it a balanced look that photographers and artists loved to capture. Many period advertisements featured the Servi-Car alongside mechanics or police officers, emphasizing its role as a partner in service. The Harley-Davidson logo on its tank or cargo box carried authority and trust. It was not just a brand, it was a promise that the machine would endure. Even in the international market, the Servi-Car found admirers. Some were exported to Canada, Latin America, and even parts of Europe, where they served similar roles in municipal and commercial fleets. In these regions, the Servi-Car became a curiosity, a distinctly American solution to transportation challenges. Many foreign police departments that used them reported the same reliability and ease of maintenance that had made the model successful in the U.S. For Harley-Davidson, these exports helped strengthen its reputation as a builder of tough, versatile machines that could adapt to any environment. In retrospect, the Servi-Car occupies a unique space in Harley-Davidson's story. It bridged the gap between the early industrial motorcycles of the 1910s and the lifestyle-driven models of the modern age. It was not a racer, not a cruiser, not a chopper, it was its own category, the working Harley. That identity, humble yet powerful, gave it a timeless legacy. For those who understand Harley history, the Servi-Car stands as proof that the company's greatness has always come from its ability to serve people in real, practical ways. Many of the surviving Servi-Cars today tell personal stories. Some belong to police departments and still bear faded decals from decades ago. Others were once used by auto shops whose logos remain faintly visible under layers of restored paint. Owners often preserve these markings as part of the vehicle's authenticity. When these machines are displayed at shows, visitors gather around not just to admire their engineering but to listen to their histories. Each Servi-Car seems to carry the memory of a city street, a mechanic's hand, or a patrol officer's shift. They are living artifacts of American daily life, captured in steel and chrome. Collectors and riders who own Servi-Cars often speak of the unique sensation of driving one. The combination of stability and motorcycle-style steering gives a feeling unlike any other vehicle. The ride is slower, steadier, but also deeply connected to the road. The engine's pulse resonates through the frame, reminding the rider of simpler times when every journey required mechanical understanding and physical effort. The Servi-Car doesn't demand speed, it rewards patience. Its leisurely pace invites reflection, allowing riders to experience the rhythm of the road as their predecessors once did. In the modern age of electric motorcycles and computerized systems, the Harley-Davidson Servi-Car stands as a mechanical relic, but a beloved one. It represents an era when machines were built to last, when every part was accessible, and when design served purpose before aesthetics. To ride or restore a Servi-Car today is to touch a piece of that history. It connects generations of workers, officers, and riders who all shared one simple truth, that a Harley-Davidson, no matter how many wheels it has, embodies resilience and pride. For more than 40 years, the Servi-Car rolled faithfully across American streets, witnessing the nation's evolution through depression, war, and prosperity. It adapted to each decade without losing its soul. Its longevity speaks volumes about Harley-Davidson's engineering philosophy, a belief in making machines that stand the test of time. Even now, when one of these three-wheeled veterans appears on the road, people stop and look. The shape is unmistakable, the sound unforgettable. It's a reminder that progress does not erase legacy, it builds upon it. The Servi-Car may no longer be produced, but it remains alive in memory, in collections, and in the unmistakable rumble of Harley's trikes that continue to roam modern highways. It was never a symbol of rebellion or luxury. It was a symbol of reliability, a three-wheeled companion that helped America move, work, and grow. And that, perhaps, is its greatest triumph.